I loved the first Despicable Me. The humor was great, the characters were lovable, and the music was epic. The second film was also really good and taught us to be happy. But then comes Despicable Me 3. That one was questionable in quality. And then came Despicable Me 4, which I can officially say was bad. What was the problem with the last two films? Well, in Despicable Me 3, even though the plot was convoluted and Brat wasn't as memorable as the series' other villains, Gru still had a cynical side and used his gadgets. In Despicable Me 4, also with a convoluted plot, Gru's personality totally changed and it becomes like a suburban comedy film. Heck, his final battle with the forgettable Cockroach Man is fought with no gadgets. How lame. So I have no hope for Despicable Me 5, unless they take my idea. What is my idea? The plot started with the idea that this should be the last film and the girls will find out one of their parents actually are alive, and I took it from there. In my Despicable Me 5, the Mega Minions would accidentally turn into humans and become the AVL's best agents. No one would know they were originally the Mega Minions, not even themselves. So Gru eventually breaks and decides he's going evil again. He divorces Lucy, who doesn't understand, and takes Nefario and most of the minions with him. However, Edith also wants to go evil, thinking it would be a lot cooler than her current life.
Cool.
And so the sisters are split. And so, after getting some new lodging, he starts trying to do evil stuff, and it is pretty fun. However, he doesn't remember how to be really evil like he used to be, so he decides to go to Grab's villain training to remember. Edith also joins, and they both learn alongside each other how to be evil. Dr. Nefario didn't forget. Eventually, Grab thinks they progressed enough and tells them to break all the villains out of the AVL prison as a mission. Gru is able to do so and evades the 5 agents, using his evil skills. Everyone comes except Scarlet and Herb, who say they are officially done. So then Grab would do a loyalty test on Gru. He tells him to kidnap for him Agent Lucy Wilde. Gru refuses, which gets Grab very angry. He asks if he wants to be like the last person who betrayed him, named Mr. Walker. Gru asks what Mr. Walker did, and Grab tells him to go to a certain room. There he meets a woman chained to the floor. Her name is Mrs. Walker, and she says what happened to her husband. A long time ago, Mr. Walker was at Grab's villain training. However, one day he decides to go good after something changes his mind. Grab promises to get revenge on Mr. Walker for betraying his school. However, Mr. Walker, who was then called Mr. Pieduck, successfully changed his name and identity. He married her and evaded Grab for 9 years. One day, while on a road trip with their 3 kids, who were 7, 3, and a few months, Grab evidently found out as he causes there to be a car crash, making sure Mr. Walker is killed and kidnaps Mrs. Walker, then exploding the car so no one would know what happened to either, but probably an assumed death. So, this is where she was all that time. He asks who her 3 kids were, and to her surprise, she says Margot, Edith, and Agnes. Isn't that a coincidence? No, it wasn't. So Gru gets Edith to come, and she is reintroduced with her mother. After getting her freed, they all quickly get away from Grabs. Gru gets back home and admits to Lucy that it was a terrible mistake he had done, and he now realized how bad evil actually was. Mrs. Walker reunites with the rest of her girls. So then, they all need to fight the villains. Most are defeated rather easily by the Class A agents, but then Grab comes and easily defeats these agents and turns them back into Mega Minions. Then Gru, using all his evil skills, with the rest of his family, the Minions, Mrs. Walker, and Nefario, all try fighting Grab, and after a long battle, he is finally defeated and falls to his death. So then, Gru and Lucy remarry. Then Mrs. Walker says she wants her girls back, so Gru, Lucy, and Gru Jr. must part from them, and there's a goodbye scene. After they leave, Gru is saddened even though he still has a wife and a son. But a few days later, he is reinstated to the AVL. They are given Class A titles again, and Gru and Lucy go off on a new mission. While on the mission, he remembered he forgot to open a letter the girls sent to him, so he does. And inside is a book they made. It is called 3 Little Kittens, and is like one big unicorn, but from the perspective of the girls. He reads it out loud. A suggestion about the music is that Pharrell should definitely do more than one song this time. The credits should start with his song Prettiest Girls for an obvious reason, while in 2D animations we see a montage of things the girls did with their adoptive family as the credits are shown. And that is the Despicable Me 5 we deserve, a final ending to the franchise that people may respect. Hopefully. Subscribe for more like this.